Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of small resources that might be useful for you. These are not scholarly resources. Do not produce scholarly research, but they're very well documented research, and they can often be helpful when you're trying to present the problem that you're trying to address in your study. The first of these is CQ Researcher. This is a database we subscribe to, and CQ stands for Congressional Quarterly. It's a journalistic organization that covers Congress in significant detail, and they typically cover issues that Congress is considering for legislation or that has already passed laws on, and they're going back to review how well those laws worked. And they're very well documented, and they are also written in plain English. So you can see here, and they try to stay very current, can future pandemics be prevented? So we'll take a quick look at that study, at that report. And you can find related reports. You can also find background. You can find a chronology of how far back zoonotic diseases go. As we know, they go back to the Middle Ages. There are maps and graphs. And of particular importance to you would be the bibliography. Here is where you can find some scholarly work. So there are some books. There are also articles. Usually these are not scholarly. Wall Street Journal, The Hill, the New York Times. But those can often lead you to scholars doing work in the area. But the part I wanted to make sure I pointed out to you are the reports and studies. These often are scholarly peer-reviewed articles, not always, but they are somewhat hard to find otherwise. You couldn't simply Google and look and expect them to come up. So this is another way that you can do some scholarly research. They also present you with some organizations that are active in tracking the issue that's being written about. And these can often be ones that could help you in terms of documenting the overall problem. They are full text. You can get a citation, you can email them to yourself, you can send parts of this article to yourself or the whole article. It's a very handy database, not just for your course, but for almost any course in the social sciences. The other one that I want to show you is not a library database. It is It is the Legislative Analyst's Office. Think tanks and places like the Legislative Analyst's Office, again, are places where you might get deep analysis, not necessarily scholarly peer-reviewed research, but deep analysis. In the case of the LAO, this is related to California, and the LAO is a nonpartisan research and analytic branch of the legislature, and they take fairly deep dives into what the impact of laws and things that are going on can be. You can see the various policy areas up here. So if your topic falls into one of these topic areas, you might want to see what's going on in California. Propositions and initiatives, what kinds of things are being presented to the electorate. So that's the LAO. You won't always have a chance to need it, but occasionally you will. And then in a moment we will look at the census and how to find statistics to document your research.